Hello everyone, my name is Chris Lim, I'm the creator of Spiffio, and today I'm going to teach you how to use Spiffio as a translation portal. We're going to go over a few things. The first one is how to set up your instance in Spiffio. And then we're going to go over 3 different roles. The first one is the translation manager role. They are the ones who decide what needs to be translated and oversee the whole process. The second one is the translator role. They will check the automatic translation that gets generated in Spiffio, make any corrections, and then mark the translation as ready to go. And the third role is the analyst role. They can measure the number of corrections that a translator had to make between the automatic translation and the final result. They also measure how long it took for the translation to be completed. And they can measure other things like quality in order to make sure that your translations are delivering the right results for your audience. And lastly, we're going to talk about how do you actually export the translations in Spiffio so that you can integrate it with your content management systems, make a Word document out of it, or something else. I'm going to go over a quick overview of each of these things, and then in the following lessons, you're going to be able to learn the details of what each role does. So, first, to set up your instance, you're going to want to create accounts for all of your translation managers. Second, you're going to want to enable the languages that you need, both the source languages as well as the target languages you will be translating into. Third, you're going to want to add all of your translators to Spiffio. Now, Spiffio is unique because it's actually designed to help you to crowdsource your translation. You could have many different translators, and as a manager, you can assign it to different people so that the work can be spread out across many people, and you can actually have a high volume of translation at a good cost. Lastly, we're going to show you how to create a playlist so that you can oversee the progress that your translators are making in doing the work. This is going to be so that you can focus on the things that you understand. You may not know the target language, but you can check at a glance whether or not the translation is lining up with the source document and the progress that the translators are making in reviewing all the lines of translation. These are the kinds of tasks that a translation manager will do. First, you're going to want to figure out what documents do you want to translate. If you are, for example, a news organization, you might prioritize the ones that are performing well in the source language, or it might be a culturally relevant piece that you want translated to another locale. In this case, you will have your way of deciding which pieces to be translated. Second, you're going to create those documents in the original language in Spiffio. Third, you will add automatic translations of those documents into the languages that you want to translate it into. Now, if you want to actually analyze the before and after of the automatic translation and how many edits your translators had to make, you can download at this step the initial automatic translation so that the analysts can compare the results. Next, you're going to add the documents you created to a playlist, and that lets you oversee the work. And lastly, you're going to take that translation you automatically generated and send it to a translator for review. If you're a translator, you're going to receive perhaps an email with that link to the document that you've been asked to translate. You can open it up, log in, and what you're going to do is go line by line through the translation and the original document to see if the automatic translation is sufficient and to make corrections for anywhere that it makes a mistake. You're going to edit that translation, make sure that the number of lines in the source matches the number of lines in the translation. If it's a very long document, you can mark your progress so that if you're on line 500 out of 1000, you're able to mark it, and that way the manager can see that you're 50% of the way through your document, and you can save your work and come back to it at a future time. When all the lines of the translation have been reviewed, you can lock the document, and that's going to be the signal that the document is ready to go. This is an optional step, but if you have an analyst on your team, you're able to measure some baseline metrics before and after using Spiffio as a translation portal. You can check the turnaround time of how long it takes an article to be translated, how much it costs, and if you have a way to check quality, you can include that in your baseline measurement. And then for each article that is in the Spiffio platform, you're able to download the final form of each translation, compare that with the original automatic translation to see how many corrections the translators had to make, and then you can calculate the time between when the document was created and the last time that it was modified to see a sense of what the turnaround time was for that translation. And lastly, you can try to measure the quality of the automatic translation that has been post-edited and compare it to your former process to see if you get an improvement there as well. So those were the 3 roles: the translation manager, the translator, and the analyst. And for the final step, this is where you actually want to take the translations that are complete in Spiffio and move them into your content management system, your Word document, your publishing process, whatever else that might be. In the future, it's possible that we could build integrations with those platforms, but here's the way that you can do it today. You can oversee your progress, the progress of your team through the playlists. And when a document has translations reviewed for every language that you wanted it to be translated into, you can view the translation, copy the output, and paste it into your system. Very simple. And when it's all done and published, you can delete the entry from the playlist, and that's how you know that it's done. You don't have to worry about the document being deleted. The playlist is just there to help you manage and oversee the work, but the documents themselves stay. I want to also mention a couple other things that we want to call out. One of them is that with Spiffio, all the documents that you put in and all the translations that are fully reviewed by humans automatically get included in a translation memory. And that means that any time that the system finds a sentence that you've already translated and reviewed in the past, it will not use automatic translation. It will use the work you've already done. And that gives you better quality over time. As your translators do their work, you get more and more accurate translations, even automatically. Second, if there's certain terminology that you commonly need to correct, you can actually add this as an auto replacement, which will, every time it finds a mistake in that terminology, it can replace it with the right answer. And that will also speed up your work. And that's it. This has been the overview of how to use Spiffio as a translation portal. And in the following lessons, you're going to learn the detailed step-by-step for each kind of role, what needs to be done in the Spiffio interface. So thanks for listening to this, and please continue on to your next lesson.